At major intersections across cities in China, the sight of people sitting silently by the roadside has become routine. They are workers finishing their shifts, drifters who have lost their jobs, and people who have lost hope. One middle-aged man muttered in a trembling voice from hunger that it was already past 11 at night and the roadside was full of people waiting for work, all of them exhausted. The Chinese government boasts of a strong post-pandemic economic recovery and victory in the tariff war with the United States, yet the reality is starkly different, as millions struggle each day simply to survive.
我们00后做错了什么吗?
We, the post-2000 generation, where did we even go wrong? We studied our hearts out since we were kids. Our parents and teachers kept saying every day, study like your life depends on it. As long as you study, your future will open up. We went to school at 6 a.m. every morning and studied until 11 at night, sometimes even past midnight. But after graduating from college, we finally realized things had already changed in the adult world. Graduation turned straight into unemployment. There's nothing regular people can really do. Some problems probably can't be solved unless one generation, no, several generations, get sacrificed over time. We, the post-2000s generation, didn't do anything wrong. But even so, maybe our lives can only end up buried in the ashes of this era.
In industrial parks and office districts, everyone is astonished by the lack of job openings. One company offered 200 positions and received more than 20,000 applications, leaving a hiring rate of only 1%. Many people send out hundreds of resumes yet never receive a single interview call. Even those with master's or doctoral degrees, and even those returning from overseas study, cannot find work. They say with a bitter smile that academic credentials no longer mean anything because the market is saturated and companies are going bankrupt every day.
我是今年7月毕业的一个本科应届毕业生。
I just graduated from college this July. Thinking about my own situation and about my classmates back in college, I realized we're all facing the same reality. We can't find jobs. Most of us were born around 2001, 2002, or 2003. Even after graduating, we still can't support ourselves, and we're still relying on money from our parents. Out of 10 people our age, only 2 or 3 have jobs. And even then, one of them is doing some sales job they never wanted. Our parents don't push us hard, telling us to hurry up and work. But they do have one belief. If you work seriously and keep trying, you'll definitely succeed. But in this era, you can't really say that's true anymore. If anything, that belief itself puts a huge mental burden on us. Even when we try to talk about our worries after coming home, most parents just don't get it. A lot of parents overlook how the times are affecting our generation. Because of that, we're stuck. We can't move forward because there are no jobs, and we can't step back because we can't even talk honestly with our families. Right now, we really feel like living is just tough.
Across cities nationwide, the faces of those newly joining the ranks of delivery workers tell the whole story. Women, middle-aged people, and even young graduates fresh out of university wear yellow uniforms and helmets and rush to make deliveries late at night or in the rain to earn only a few dozen yuan. Some were once engineers, others were teachers. Now they scramble for a single order amid the noise of the streets. They say that society as a whole is merely struggling to survive without knowing what tomorrow will bring.
奉劝那些暂时还没找到工作的人
I want to give some advice to people who still haven't found a job. You really shouldn't come into delivery work. Right now, the number of delivery riders is already overflowing. And every day there are more riders than actual orders. You really can't make money. And you don't get food or a place to stay. You have to pay for 3 meals a day, the battery rental fee. And on top of that, you need the initial investment to buy an e-bike. Your minimum monthly expenses end up being around 2,000 yuan. To be honest, even veteran delivery riders now can barely make 200 yuan a day. This isn't a lie. Just because you don't have a job, don't rush into delivery work like everyone else. It really means nothing. I know it's getting harder and harder to find a job. But what paths are even left for regular people now?
Markets that were once crowded with people are now as silent as graveyards. Even in shops with their lights on, there are no customers, and the owners stare blankly at those passing by. A greengrocer muttered while shaking his head that despite such a good location no one buys anything and he does not know how he will survive. In rural areas, rice and fruit cannot be sold, leaving farmers to throw their produce away or give it out for free. In cities, workers lose their jobs, and small shops, processing factories, and even cafeterias quietly shut down. The national economy is like a giant cart coming to a halt, collapsing with a groan after exhausting its strength.
I really don't understand what's going on now. Out on the streets, there are more delivery riders and couriers than customers. Yesterday, I didn't get a single order. And today, so far, I still haven't gotten even one. Even so, I've already paid next year's rent. The people at the shop next door are hesitating about whether they should pay next year's rent or not. Business has gotten this miserable this year.
A homeless man said he had once served in the military for 4 years and believed the words that effort would open a path to the future, yet now he sleeps at bus stops and searches for food by picking through trash, saying he is lucky to survive one more day and has no room to think about tomorrow. Beside him are people who once had families and homes, and now they also stave off hunger by sharing leftovers from garbage bins, a scene that is no longer an isolated tragedy but a reality shared by millions.
很多人说我为什么非要捡垃圾不去。
A lot of people ask me why I'm picking up trash instead of working. The truth is, these past few days, I've been looking for a job too. Have you all noticed? It's really hard to find work now. I went to 2 manual labor shops, and both owners said, there's no work right now. Are there others who still can't find a job? Most jobs now require experience. And if you don't have a track record, you don't even get a base salary. If I had the strength, I wouldn't want to pick up trash. Who would willingly dig through trash cans outside on a day this hot?
A young person who calls themselves the last generation said they no longer want to add more people who will suffer to their family. In a society where carrying on the family line was once seen as a sacred duty, nothing shows deeper despair than these words. Fware.
People often say that poverty doesn't last more than 3 generations. My grandfather was poor his whole life. My father spent most of his life struggling. And when it comes to my generation, I'm not going to let them down. I won't get married and I won't have kids. This way, there won't be any more poor people coming from my family. For people who value their bloodlines so much, ending it because we've been pushed this far, it's just too sad.
Even scholars in Beijing now admit that the former prosperity was nothing more than an illusion. Growth dependent on exports and real estate bound the entire nation to a massive bubble. When the housing market collapsed and exports stalled, everything fell apart in a chain reaction. Young people cannot buy homes, the middle-aged sink into debt, companies run out of cash, and local governments are pushed into fiscal ruin. What was once called prosperity was, in the end, a fantasy built on the sacrifices of the people. At the same time, state media continue to paint a bright economic future and strictly forbid the spread of negative information, while social media accounts that report frankly on people's hardship and social contradictions are deleted one after another. A blogger wrote that if you can still eat your fill today, then this is the best day of your life. These words spread online as a warning that needed no explanation, because everyone living in China today feels the same way. Tomorrow will not necessarily be worse than today, but it will certainly not be better.